I want to share my thoughts on why there are single mothers in black neighborhoods of America. Um, I truly believe that there's a lot of secrets about life that are really not secrets that we continue to miss. And one thing about life that we find when we find something not important, a problem when it actually is important, a problem comes from it. And when we think that it's not important, the most dangerous thing about it is that when we neglect the important things, is that the problem will come back to haunt us. However, we will never know from what angle and why. So it'll always be a clueless problem that we will never know the root of. And if you think about it, one of the things that we humans and we Americans have neglected over many years is the idea of being a gentleman and the idea of being ladylike and the idea of not being so sexual. All those things kind of go together. The idea of a true relationship, what true love really is, the meaning of true love, we forgot that too. We don't know what that is anymore. Our young kids, our stupid teenagers, they don't know what that shit is. That stuff has been forgotten, and all of you can agree on this. So when all of those things are gone, you got to think if they really are important, which we didn't know, of course. We let's just say we didn't think they were important. Thus, this is why these things are neglected now. They mean nothing, of course. They cause no crime, and crime that exists has nothing to do with love, basically, true love and the right kind of love. And so this is what people assume, and that stuff is the last thing that we need to worry about. But it's funny because certain things are always the cause of greater events in our time. And well, if you think about it, had a lot of humans known what true love actually is and not lived in this world through lust, always wanting to have sex and fuck different bitches and all that, because that's what a lot of thugs that live in the ghetto actually do. They they don't believe in true love, and all they do is go to strip clubs and they think about sex all day long. I live in the ghetto now, and I see this all the time. I surely would know. I have also been one of these kind of guys who were very lustful and things like that, and it's just a common thing. It's not something that's small or anything like that. So you got to think these guys and these girls don't know anything about true love. The women in our country of America believe in money. They barely believe in an actual male figure anymore. They just believe what's in his pockets, and a lot of them are whores and sluts just to be as slutty as the men are. It's an influence that is traveling to anybody and everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, what race, or what gender. You're all pretty much the same. You all have the same problem. The only real difference is that financially, men will want pussy over money, and women will want money over dick. Half the time. Um, Otherwise, it still creates the same outcome, which is a lot of single mothers out there in this world. I've been watching a topic of sort of Tommy Sotomayor speaking on YouTube, and I've been watching the Rubin Report. It's a YouTube channel. A white male liberal is hosting this channel, and he's a very nice guy. And if you had to say that there's a good version of anything, he's a good type of liberal. He's a liberal that anybody can respect, no matter what group or race you're from. It doesn't really matter. He's not just a nice guy, but he sees things from all angles, all aspects. So he's well respected on here. Nobody has anything bad to say within the comments. And just the topic is has a lot to do with the black community and the the problems within the black community having a lot of single mothers raising their kids, and these single mothers having a lot of kids, of course, and different husbands as a result. So uh, Tommy Sotomayor makes a lot of great points. I'm not sure if he's mostly blaming the female on this, the mother or the father, but I know one thing: everybody is to blame. I don't blame only the woman on this behalf, because there's a sex problem going on in this country, and especially in the ghetto. And if there's a sex problem going on, why would anybody expect any mother to have her husband? Why would there be a full relationship in these type of neighborhoods, and especially in this country of America, when there's a sex problem? There's a sex problem on TV. There's a sex problem in our comedy, a sex problem in our movies. There's a sexual problem in our video games. I mean, usually in entertainment, it doesn't have to be that big of a deal, but it is more than it should be. You can't turn on your television and not see anything sexual. It's too easily exposed to not only our children, but to humanity, to humans, adults. Adults are influenced by this. And God, there is surely the biggest sex problem in our porno. Our porn has traveled too much and too far. We watch porn too much now, way too much. So any race, it doesn't matter who you are, everybody has a sex problem. But the ghetto, black people who live in the ghetto, they handle it the worst, and rightfully so, because my theory on this: blacks are, when they are young, they're very fit. They are very fit when they are young, especially the women. If women are fit, it's gonna arouse a man. Doesn't matter who you are, it's gonna arouse a man. It's gonna cause a man to look and be influenced by that fitness. If she dares wear sexual clothing, that only makes it two times worse. So there's many angles you can look at this. A lot of people put it on the women. I don't respect the women at all. I don't respect anybody here, but I put it on everybody. I mean, there's everything. They don't ultimately. No one in America understands the culture of true love. This is why true love was fucking important, you stupid humans. This is why getting in a true relationship was important. This is why waiting when you're married for sex was important, you dumbasses. It's not just a Christianity thing or a religious thing. Dude, you're fucking supposed to wait for sex. Wait. Hold your sex, your virginity, or just hold it for at least a proper person. You guys can't even do that. Humans in America can't even wait for the right person, let alone think smart when they have sex and wear a condom. You guys don't even actually have sex with the right person. You end up having kids. Most of these cases have to be with these single mothers in the ghetto. Most of them have to be with her having a kid with a guy on accident. You'd have to think that too. So a lot of times when this happens, they're never the right person that they truly prefer to live with for the rest of their life. And so either the man or the woman leaves each other, and she's stuck with the kids. And the whole law part, people, YouTubers and politics, they can handle that. I don't know anything about the laws on the child support against the man and the woman keeping the kids and things like that. I'm not very good with that stuff because it's just more information for me to learn about and to study. So hopefully anybody can educate me on that, and I will continue to learn. But I do know this, something that nobody points out. The mentality of what, this is the root of the problem. The biggest root you could possibly ever think of is the lack of wisdom, the lack of teaching. People do not know what true love is. Nobody ever wants to admit that too much sex, there is a such thing as that. There is a such thing as too much sex and having the wrong sex with the wrong people. And if that had been known, and taken care of, that knowledge, then we wouldn't have this problem. We wouldn't. There would be no way this problem could exist, because people would wait for the right person. People would also want to try to become the right person. I mean, there's a lot you'd have to teach your human beings, but it all has to be taught. It's all important to be taught. All this basic knowledge is what these ghetto people who live in those thuggish neighborhoods do not have. They don't have that knowledge. So what do they only care about? Sex. Whatever feels good to the mind, if anything. Video games, sex, getting in gangs and having a reputation of being a gang member and things like that. Doing crime whenever their life is low class, because they don't know how to, they don't know any better to, they do know better, but it's like, it's not strong on them. They don't have a strong heart towards things, doing the right thing, basically. They do not have a strong heart towards things that are of good nature. Being calm, they just don't have enough heart to realize that stuff is important, more important than they ever could have imagined. And so Due to this, they're stupid. Everybody's stupid, but due to this, they are the stupidest people in our country. We have a lot of stupid ghetto citizens in our country, and they are all populating in a manner that we do not like. They're all populating, and the population of it is a dumbass population. It sucks, and it shouldn't happen. They shouldn't be hated or blamed. You should blame everybody, including them. But it's going to take a bit of wise thinking to realize the root of the problem. You guys have to be gentlemen. You have to be nice people, be loving. If you do that, you'll realize, you know what? This stuff is important. That's what life's all about. It's about love. If these people in the ghetto had focused on true love, if they had focused on if a guy focused on finding the right girl and not being so easily horny and believing in other things in life and not just sex all the time, then this problem would be solved. He wouldn't be running into some girl at a strip club that he just wanted to fuck so bad, and then next thing you know, he accidentally comes in her and she has a kid. And they don't even believe in condoms anymore. So that's out of the window. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. STDs are running around in the ghetto as well. All these sexually transmitted diseases and herpes. This shit is getting terribly worse. And people are ignoring it. It's like people don't know the ghetto exists in America. It's weird. White people don't know it exists. I don't get that. It really pisses me off. Like, you guys don't want to blame them or something? What's wrong with you? I just feel like it's like I barely hear that term come out of their mouth. So I just feel like nobody knows. Nobody wants to focus on this. You do know it, but no one wants to actually say it. America's fucking ghetto. It is. Now, what makes this worse and adds on to it, as I always say, the music raps about this shit. So you people already know this happens, especially since the rappers tell you it happens. They stupidly tell you when they shouldn't be. They're not against themselves either, but they represent it so fucking much. They embrace this kind of nature of fucking a bitch, having a bunch of kids, getting a girl from a strip club, and never finding a true loving wife or even saving their virginity for anybody special. They do not believe in that nature. They have demons in them, and demons don't believe in that nature. For those who believe in demons anyway. Otherwise, they have evil in them. If it ain't demons, everybody has something in them that's fucking us up and getting us off track. And our biggest problem is that no one is going to address where it's coming from. Although we all know in the back of our heads what's truly happening, no one is actually going to say, you know what, I care about this world, I care about this earth, I want to change it forever. Let me tell these people what's truly going on. There's many influences that lead these ghetto thugs in the ghetto, these women and these men, mostly the black community in the ghetto. If they want to be called the black community, call them that. But there's many influences that induces these people there to do these things and repeat this process. They have no hopes and dreams of life. They don't think about anything other than sex and weed. So the music that they listen to, how ironic, not even ironic really, it's just, go figure, that the music they listen to is all about that shit. Take away the music. Don't take away the genre of the music. Don't take away rap. Rap is awesome. It's one of the best ever. I mean, it's obviously gotten everybody's attention. Don't take away hip hop or R&B. Change it. There should be a law that stops these people from making music like that, because it's influencing them to be stupid and to get in bad relationships. That's another reason why there's so many failing mothers out there that are alone with no man in the house. And so the kids are being raised to become, look at the kids, man. If you go to the ghetto, you realize a lot of people are crippled as fuck. Everybody's ugly. Everybody looks like they're retarded. Like they have no sense. People are so ugly here in the ghetto. I look around. I'm not making fun of them. This is the truth. I get pissed off every time I see an ugly person here because there's too much ugliness. And Americans are all ugly. White people, everybody's fucking ugly. But they're ugly in their own unique manner. White people are ugly because they're fat as fuck. They have no shape. But blacks here are ugly because they can be skinny. But they're ugly because there's something deformed about their face. There's something deformed about their body. And this, to me, comes from a shitty birth. I truly believe that they would have been They would have been healthier had they found true love, had they been cleaner having sex, by the way, physically cleaner, clean their fucking ass, clean their dicks, their vaginas. If they had just gotten everything right, everything that you people found not important, if all of you thought it was important and they had been taught this in school, out of school, in church, many places, on TV, being taught this on TV as well, if celebrities had been influencing this good nature, they would be good people. They would be better. They would be healthier. But there's a lot of problems that come from not realizing what true love actually is. So what you need to do, I already know what to do. And when I take control, I'll do it. But I'll tell you people, I'll tell you the secret. There's no secret. I'll tell you the answer. This is what I'm going to do. When I become leader, I'm going to there will be no celebrity that will sit here in this country and be dirty, rapping about dirty shit. That will be in hell. That will stay down there. Those who want to rap about that, you go ahead and go down there. And I'm not taking the country with them. Fuck that. I love this country. We'll stay in heaven. That will be gone. Schools will teach wisdom. Schools will officially not just teach this lame-ass, useless math, social studies, and science, and all those other subjects, which are in fact useful. The basics of those subjects are very useful. But once those subjects get deeper into things that we never deal with in life, they are only applied for certain people. Certain people should be learning those things. So that will have to be modified. But those are important subjects for sure. Don't get me wrong. But it seems to have done nothing to us. Even those who get good grades, I see nothing special come from this, except for our inventions. So that's why they're important, but they need to be modified because we focus so much on those subjects that now we have no wisdom. We have no wisdom, so it becomes pointless. We need wisdom in these schools. These teachers, everybody needs to be teaching these kids wisdom, the right way of how to be a parent, how to get in a relationship, how to have sex, and when to have it. Now that's one thing that they do to kind of teach is when to have sex sometimes, but the kids don't listen. They find it as they find that topic to be ridiculous, obviously, and it needs to be stronger. We need our celebrities to be cleaner so they can help teach our kids. I would only allow celebrities to be exposed in public and on TV if they were being good influences. The moment I ever saw a celebrity that was being a bad influence, I'd jail that bitch. I would jail that bitch, probably whipping. I'd probably whip their fucking asses there. They'd be disciplined by a bunch of workers. I'm serious. That's what you should do. They've ruined this fucking place. They do more crime than you think they do. It's just that the crime is so bad. It's so bad, but it happens in the future and not necessarily in this generation. So this is why nobody realizes how bad the crime is of a celebrity who is a bad influence actually is and how big it is. It's one of the biggest crimes because every crime is a crime because it leads to death or later deaths or later crimes that lead to deaths. So being a bad influence is a crime because you influence someone to have a bad mindset who could have a kid that has an even worse mindset who could then end up growing up to do a crime which could kill someone. You see, it's all a train. It all connects to the next piece. It's not one big object that is moving to a bad path, but it's one object that is connected to another object in which is all going to a bad path. It eventually turns even worse and worse deeper down in hell. So these celebrities are doing a crime. It's just a crime that happens in the next generation that comes up. It affects younger people who look up to those celebrities. I would only allow any celebrity that is a good influence to literally be at the top and be on TV and be exposed through music or anything else. Anybody that's a bad influence, they will not ever have any media. They won't ever have any publicity. If you have total control as leader, this is something you should do. This is something I will do. So that's another thing. Parents there's got to be a way that we get adults in these fucking schools. A lot of these ghetto parents, I would create classrooms for them. You'd have to fix a job system and how they get paid money and things like that. So that's a long story. I already have that covered. But nonetheless, It all helps it to be easier and less, and no misery. There's no misery from this, no stress. All they got to do is get in fucking classroom and learn how to be the right kind of parent. And any parent to influence their children for the worse, rest assured they'll have their kid taken away. They'll be jailed. It's not cruel, I promise. They'd have to be a pretty bad parent, but there's a lot of them. All the child abuse, the physical child abuse, and beating your kid with objects and things like that. I would temporarily take their kids away for a whole year and see how they think it feels. That's it. Not forever, just for a certain amount of time. There needs to be some kind of consequence, some kind of discipline to affect these parents. They're ruining our country and thus ruining the world. Everybody's ruining our country and thus the world. So you guys don't really know how bad if you had a consequence for the bad things you have done altogether, you really don't know how terrifying it really is. It makes me kind of understand why there is a such thing as a hell, because we actually don't know how bad we really are in this world. If you're a Christian, at least, we actually don't know how bad we truly are. That all the things we do, if we had to combine it and then see the outcome of what it caused in the future or the present time, because some of us don't see it, we're blind to our own actions. But if we had to see it, we'd then say, damn, I do belong in hell. That's what hell's for. Yeah. I know how bad this stuff is because I thought about the future and then I thought about the past, and I'm like, that's why we have all these fucking problems. It all began with a small fucking mistake, a small intentional mistake. People are very misunderstood. We have a lot of misunderstood parents, and a lot of people in the ghetto are misunderstood about true love, what true love actually is, and getting with the right person. And they're also misunderstood of the meaning of life. They just think it's all about sex and drugs. We need to change that. We need to change that. We have to teach someone, but I would say teach everyone. Teach the kids and teach the parents. That's what I would say. Teach them how to be a real American. That's what you must do. It's not just about the laws, but we need to get to their brain. That's what's controlling this shit in the first place. It controls crime. It controls decisions. So we need to get to the brain. You can make these laws, and I do kind of approve of the laws that people believe should be made against these single mothers, but as long as it's not hurting anybody. But I think what also needs to be looked at is, how do we change this forever? How do we stop them from ever being like that? We have to care about them too. Don't force yourself to care, but find the reasons why you should. Since I understand the reasons why I should, because they're as special and as beautiful as anybody on this planet, I care about everyone now. With that said, I would rather them be changed. And the best way to do that is if you teach them wisdom. We need these schools to be changed a bit so that they can teach these kids wisdom. But now, at this point, the kids are almost as smart as the adults, which is a fucking shame. In other words, I'm saying the adults, in the ghetto especially, are dumbasses. We need to make them smarter, but not through just education, because education doesn't cover everything, like wisdom, for example. We need to also give them wisdom. We need to give them a fucking adult class on how to truly be a real parent and show them what life is really about, and get rid of this fucking bad influence of entertainment. This hip hop music, get rid of the bad sides of it. We need to calm that shit down. It's way too horrible. It wasn't as bad in the early 2000s and the 1990s. Thus, you notice how relationships were better in those times. So we need to clean up our gutter-filled entertainment. And that's it.